Now that we have seen cloud operations, what it is, and what are the tools that are part of it, now let's head over to Google Cloud Console and see logging and monitoring in action. Please pay attention to this particular part as I will be covering some important topics that could come in your Associate Cloud Engineer Certification exam. Let's have a look at the logging first. So I'll search logging over here and go to the logging tool. Now, once you open it, this is the default view that you'll get. On the left side, you'll see your resource type over here, and on the right side, the preview of log entries. Currently, it's been set to show the last 1 hour of log. You can change it from here and you can select as per your needs. Let's select last 30 days of logs. You can enter your custom range as well. Okay, hit apply. Now that I have broadened the horizon, it will show you a lot of logs and a lot of resource types as part of it. Let's have a look at each of those. So if you see, the resource type could be VM instance, Kubernetes cluster, BigQuery, firewall, all the resources for which logs are available during this duration will be visible over here. Then we have the severity level of the logs, debug, default, info, notice, error and warnings. When we are doing some troubleshooting, when we need to check if there is any error, we basically check these two type of severities, error and warnings. Now over here as well, there are different filters that you could use. First is resource type. So these all resources that were visible on the left side, you can select it from here as well, and from the log name as well. So log name is again a type of filter. Now there are different type of logs in GCP. Logs such as activity log, data access log. Activity log could be something like when a particular user was added to the project, or who added the user, what is the principal username of that user. All those details will be logged under activity log. Now when there is any manipulation on data that happened, it would be logged under data access logs. And the same way, there'll be different type of serial output logs, application logs, and many other types. I just want to check when was the last time a user was added to this project, and who added that user, and what was the user ID of the added user, right? So I can filter the query using the activity log. It is a type of activity log. Hit apply. Then you notice over here, it will generate a filter over here. So the value is of type activity, and this is basically the log name, and the results are over here. Now, based on that, I could change the duration as well. Let's say I just want to check in last 3 hours, last 30 days, it's fine. Now there are lots of entries over here. The other filter that we can apply is resource type. So let's add the resource type as Google project. So you notice something like whenever I click over here, it auto generated the filter. So you can add filters from the left side as well as from this drop down as well. It's one and the same thing. Or if you know the value of that particular filter, let's say you just type label, it will show you all the different values available for that. You select one of those and provide the value. So now that I have used the log as activity and resource type as project, this is only one result. It happened today. It says the method was set IAM policy. That means IAM role has been added to the user, and principal email who added the user was this. Let's have a look at the JSON payload. If you go to service data, you would see type as audit data, and then go inside policy delta, binding deltas, 0, and you will see the action was add on the user tutorials with piyush@gmail.com, and this role was added. So this was the activity that was performed at this particular time. This is how we can check when a user was added to the project, who added it, and how it was done. Now we want to see all the data access that happened in this project in last 30 days. So again, we can just remove this. We select the log name as data access log, hit apply. So the filter is generated now. And over here, you will see all the resource type are mostly BigQuery, because this type of log, data access audit log, we have to explicitly enable it for a particular resource. For BigQuery, it's enabled by default and you cannot turn it off. That is why we are only seeing the BigQuery logs. All the operations that we did on data was logged over here. So for example, let's say there was this job insert happened. So who ran this job and who created the log entry was logged. So once we have the data, like whatever data we need, we can download it by clicking over here. It will ask you whether you would want to download it in JSON or CSV format, maximum log lines, or if the log entries are more than 10,000, then you can export your logs or create a sync as well, right? So to create a sync, let's go over here, logs router. So whenever you do any operation in your cloud project or any type of log is generated, by default it will be streamed to this default bucket over here, and you can customize what type of logs you would want to export to this required bucket. So these two are the default log router syncs created for you, but you can create your own sync if you want to transfer your data from one source to another supported source. Create sync, give it a name, test, select the sync service destination. So destination could be, as we have seen before, BigQuery dataset, cloud logging bucket, storage bucket, PubSub topic, or we have another option which is Splunk, or you can export it to other project as well. Right? Let's select anything for now. Cloud storage bucket. You browse the bucket from here. Currently, I don't have any bucket, so that is why it's not visible. But you can create one if you want, and then you can choose what logs to include in the sync, and you can create an exclusion filter as well. Once you create the sync, these logs will be synced in near real time to that destination, and you can run all type of analysis, and you can store these logs for long term archival purpose as well, right? So this is how you can create the log syncs. Then we have log storage. Again, this is showing the usage of these two buckets, and it says log analytics available, and you can upgrade it to store more type of logs. And here are the retention period of that. And over here, you can create log based metrics. You can hit create metrics and then select the type, whether it is a counter metrics or distribution metrics name, and you apply the filter over here. So it uses a query language to build the filter for you. You use that and you create the log based metrics. Now let's go to monitoring now. This is the default page for monitoring. And if you are using it for the first time or you haven't used it very much, then this would be screen presented to you something like this, and it will ask you to install the ops agent. Ops agent is nothing but the primary agent responsible for collecting telemetry data from your compute engine instances, and it uses fluent bit for logs, and it collects logs as well as metrics. So you can install ops agent from here. Click on setup agent. It will show you the instances in which the agent is installed or not detected. You can select that and install or update agent. If you click that, it will generate a command for you that you could run in Cloud Shell, and it will basically install that agent for you. Right. So I'll just hit cancel for now and go back to the overview dashboard page. So it's asking you to perform few things. First is integrate with Google Cloud Service, then install an agent, create a dashboard. So there is already a default dashboard. Then you can create uptime check or an alert. So now let's go to metrics scope first. So with Google Cloud Monitoring, you could monitor more than one projects. You could add the project to the metrics scope, right? From here, currently there are two projects. One is monitored project, another one is scoping project. Hosting project is the project, my current project, that is hosting the monitoring service. And monitored project is the project that is being monitored along with the first one, right? So project dr would have visibility inside project prod, but not the other way around, right? So you could add more projects to this metric scope by clicking over here. Let's say I have two more projects. I'll add one of those. Click add projects. And when you go to metric scope, now we have three projects. So I can monitor all these three projects from this particular project, right? So the two of them are monitored project and this one is the scoping project. Now let's go to metrics explorer. So over here we have three options. One is configuration, which is a GUI based metric explorer. And then we have MQL, which is monetary query language. And then we have Prom MQL. Prom MQL is Prometheus query language. So the first one, let's go to a VM instance metrics and let's see instance and let's select CPU utilization. All right. So when I did that, I see CPU utilization as an aggregated view of all the VMs running in past 1 hour. So let's expand this for 6 weeks. And now we see multiple VMs over here, right? So all the CPU utilization, like on this particular day, there were three VMs running, and CPU utilization of each of them have been given here. And this is my current VM which is running. So we can add filters to it. Let's say you just want to see only US, only a particular region, right? So add the label as zone and value. Let's give it 1A. So there is only one VM running in region 1A. If we select the other one, which is 1C, we should have the rest of the three VMs, right? Now you have added your filter as well. Now, how do you want to view the data? So you could add your group by clause over here. So you can group by using one or more fields. So let's group them by their instance ID. Okay. So now these three instance IDs have these three values, which is basically CPU utilization. Over a period of 1 minute, you could change it to 15 minutes, which makes more sense, right? And then there are some advanced option if you expand this. So you could add a secondary aggregator and secondary aligner as well, right? So this is how you create a matrix from Matrix Explorer to see the utilization of a particular resource over a particular time frame using some filters, group by clause, inclusion and exclusions. Now if you want to convert everything into a query language, you just click over here and it will be auto converted for you. So the first is table name from which all the metrics would be downloaded. Then we have the metrics name and then the filter that we applied. Then we have a group by condition every 15 minutes. And there was, I guess, I might have added another group by condition. All the details are over here, and you could make your changes from here as well. And it is pretty handy to use MQL instead of the GUI based Explorer because you could easily update these queries, reuse it, and create alerts based on that. Now you can go to alerting and alerts can be created from here. I'm not going to go into deep into that. So basically you create a policy once the threshold is reached, let's say on a CPU utilization of 80% for a VM, an incident will be created and you could set alerts based on that, and that alert could be sent to one or more notification channel. Right. Then we have uptime check. Uptime check is pretty handy when you want to monitor the endpoints and you want to get alerted as soon as any of the health check fails. So let's say you create uptime, give it a name. Next, select the target, select the protocol, or let's say resource type is instance, applies to a single or group of instance. So I have one instance running, I create that, and then I select the health check path and frequency, and then port number. Click on next. Response timeout field you can also set. Let's say if you don't hear back from the instance in 10 seconds, the health check would be timed out. And then allow any response code like acceptable HTTP response codes. So there are a lot of features, and at the end you could create an alert as well. All right, time for the quick knowledge check of what we have learned so far. How would you check when a user was added to the GCP project using cloud logging? You can export GCP logs to external system using log syncs. You can combine monitoring of multiple projects under same stack driver account by linking them together. Is that statement true or false? You want to check if a user accessed any sensitive data, which log type would have the details, and which service would you use to check the application's point in time status.